This is a quick video update on my Martinenca Rimada, the one that has the variegation. I did some propagating off of it this winter, and I just want to show you a little bit of the results and the very mixed results I usually get propagating off of this variegated Martinenca Rimada. I'll just show off the main tree for a second here first, and that is this guy. So one section of it right now is putting off a yellow to white colored leaf, and the other branches are mostly green, and the one at the bottom has the half green, half yellow, which is one of the nicer forms of the variegation. But some of it is green, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch the all green part so that it puts some of its energy into the more variegated branches. But last year I propagated off of only the variegated branches, and let me show you some of the results. So this time I did 5 cuttings off of the variegated Martinenca Rimada, and I got 4 completely different results, and one of the cuttings just didn't root and died. This one here rooted a bit, pushed out weak growth, and then didn't really make it. The variegated plants do sometimes, they are a little bit more delicate, and they just sometimes die all on their own, especially when they're young like that. One of the ones put out another variegated Martinenca Rimada with the nice variegation on the stem, some of the paler leaves, darker leaves, and then up at top you can see what the real variegation comes in, where it's a lighter color and a darker color split down the middle. So this one has sort of the full variegation here. There's a nice leaf there. So this one I up potted, and this one I'm definitely going to keep. And then this other one put out a really nice, one of these other cuttings, another really nice variegated plant. Very hit or miss with the propagation. This is the other one. These are all, 5 cuttings off of the same exact plant. And this was one of the other ones, which I find fascinating. This one grew ridiculously large for how old it is. They're all the same age. I did these all in January. So I would say this one here has moved a little slower, and so has this a little bit. But now that it's in a bigger pot, it's getting bigger quickly. This one here has moved a bit slower than others, but it's beautiful, and this is one I definitely like. And then this one here has grown at a pace that's absolutely ridiculous. See, it's outgrowing its 4x9 pot. It looks like it may have partial variegation. The bottom leaves are that paler color. The bark has a nicer striping to it than most of the Martinenca Rimadas, but all of the top leaves are just the normal green. So this one, I didn't know what to do with it, so I actually just listed it on my website as a regular Martinenca Rimada and sold it. So I'm going to be shipping that one out. So somebody's going to be getting a really big Martinenca Rimada for its age, for it being a plant from this year. Like, it's hard to stress how different these leaf sizes are, but that's the plant there, and this is the leaf on that one. So you can kind of see that you can get a completely different result from cuttings off of the same plant. It's just really interesting, especially with the variegated plants. They can spontaneously decide they're not going to be variegated anymore. And one of the ways to upkeep any of the variegated plants is when they do start to put out a branch that looks like it's reverting back to the just normal green. You can pinch it off, cut it off, and have it devote its energy into the branches that have the variegation. So it's one of the reasons I haven't sold any cuttings of this variegated Martinenca Rimada before, because it's so unpredictable. I don't want somebody getting upset and saying they bought a variegated Martinenca Rimada, and I've only been getting about 50% success with the plants coming off of them being variegated. So, but I may end up selling 1 or 2 of these, but I'm not sure yet. But they are fascinating to me. This plant several years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago now, started to form the variegation, and it's just a really cool plant. And on the mother plant this year, it's fruiting, but it's fruiting on the branch that has less of a variegation. I think sometimes the actual variegation causes it to go a bit slower, growing and fruiting, but it sure does look pretty. And another thing to watch out for with any of the variegated plants, especially the ones with the pale leaves, is when they do get hit by some good sun, this is what happens. The leaves char and then they fall off. There's really not the pigment in them to protect them from the sun like the darker green leaves. So I tend to, with the variegated leaf plants, I tend to put them in the shade. Now, that doesn't matter at all for the fruit. If the fruit are variegated, you don't need to put it in the shade. And I wouldn't suggest putting it in the shade because then you'll get less fruit off of it. But my variegated leaf varieties, I give a little bit less sun to, so it doesn't char the leaves all the time. Here's another leaf off of one of them. The nice colored, the light colored part burns sometimes. But they're such pretty plants. And each leaf that comes out tends to look a little bit different. As they come out, they look barely variegated, but this one will be strongly variegated once it gets a little bit bigger. That's about it.